Shalom. Today we're going to be putting the headers back on. Headers, all wrapped. Ran out of wrap. I need to do the downpipe. And then we're going to be putting turbo back together because the CHRA is here. And making some lines up. And that's pretty much it. Radiator on, intercooler on, oil cooler on. Basically everything to start it up apart from the downpipe because I'm waiting on some heat wrap. So yeah, let's crack on. Headers are on, you've just seen that. So now it's time to put the new CHRA, which is up there, into the housing and then get it all bolted back up. There's a few bits left to clean, like this is all black from the fire. Wants a bit of a clean. So we've got some Dub D, some brake cleaner and some tissue and some Scotch-Brite somewhere. But yeah, let me get on with this and then we can get out to the car and get it fitted back up, get some of the lines plumbed up, which are up there somewhere. But yeah. What's nice about Pulsar is they've included, well, there's a lot of things nice about Pulsar, but they've included a nice, I mentioned it before, but installation guide, and it's got all actually useful information. It's got all the torque specs that you need and how to install things, even down to the V-bands. So V-band, for example, 1/4 inch UNF V-band, so the V-band bolt, this one here, cut the thread in anti-seize, initially tighten the nut to 18 Newton meters to seat the V-band, then loosen to 6 Newton meters and then retighten to 13 to 15 Newton meters. Mega. So I've done that. Oil supply, tells you the thread, 1/2 inch UNF, inverted flare oil supply thread, 35 Newton meters. And then all the bolts, the thread sizes, gives you all of the torque spec, which yeah, I think mega well done, Pulsar. And then it even goes into oil clocking angles, you know, your optimal angle that way, and then your optimal angle of the actual CHRA. So like that way, well, it's actually like that, but like that way, if that makes sense. So the coolant is always better to go in at a lower angle and then come out at a higher angle, if that makes sense. Angle, not location, but I suppose location helps as well. But yeah, so I'm just going to tighten. I've just cleaned a couple of threads up because I've thread locked them previously, you know, these nuts going in here. So I've just, one was going in a bit tight, so I've just been and wire wheeled it, you know, to get it nice and clean, so it's free going in now into the housing. But yeah, torque spec for it is, it says if they're going into steel and cast iron threads, it gives you a torque spec, and then if they're going into aluminium threads, another torque spec. So it's saying here 12 foot-pounds or 16 Newton meters. I just want to check on a couple of pictures that I've got to make sure that I've got the right clocking, the right angle of the compressor housing before I nip these up. And then it's just oil supply on, we're nice and free, spinning, oil drain bung, this one, and then we'll get it out on onto the car. just got it all nearly back up, ready to fire up, and turned around, looked at my gimbal, and it's pointing up in the air. So the battery's gone dead on the gimbal. Too much filming. I've just made up the turbo oil return pipe, so just literally exactly the same as the old one. Interestingly enough, the rubber is still actually okay, even though it's been through the fire. It's only the nylon that melted on the end, you know, like the overbraid sort of stuff, this stuff. So yeah, that's a bonus. Anyway, that's turbo oil return. I've left it. I've done it a bit long this time on the heat wrap, because when I'm tightening these up, I'm going to then shove that right up to the fitting, you know, so that it's covering the whole fitting, because it did start to singe, you know, the nylon overbraid before, where there was like a little, you know, where I'd done it too short and there was a little bit of a like a gap like that. You can see it well, it's all melted, but you can see there was a gap, you know, there's a gap there. This is from the fire, or it wasn't anything like this. I wouldn't have been driving on like this, but anyway, coolant pipe's made up. That's what you've missed, really. So the only line I've got to make up now is the Akisum line, which is this one, and which I'll just go whip off the car now, and I'll go and put this one back on the car. I can't hold the camera and put it on, so I'll show you it when it's fitted. There we have it. You'll see what I mean if I can get an angle on it, where I've just put that sheathing, you know, right up over the actual nut itself, and on the bottom. So just the Akisum line now to run to this one here, and that goes over the top of that one, and round there, up there. Sorry about the professional filming going on here. This is the Akisum line, so it's time to swap it over. Simply, the length I think is 2 meters. I've not checked it yet, but I bought 2 meters. That's what I bought last time, so I just went off my previous purchase history on eBay. So let me do a rough sort of check. Yeah, sound 2 meters. That's a good guess. So yeah, I'm just going to whip these off, transfer them over to the new line with the heat wrap. We're just going to reverse the heat wrap, you know, from away from the burnt end, if that makes sense. Half of it's burnt, you know, so I'm just going to cut that bit off, flip it round, and then use the other hand, because I bought a metre of it. You could only buy Torx stuff in a metre. This was before they started doing they do it in half metre pieces of heat wrap now, but you used to only be able to get it in 1 metre. So I've obviously bought a metre and just put it on, but I didn't need a metre, so yeah, it's come in handy. What do I need now? Pull this off. Oh, it's gonna go with a bang. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. This has still got loads of oil in it, as I've just found out, because it's just fucking pissed all over the drive. So we want this off without spilling oil all over the place. Nope. Is it gonna? That's for that one, and that one's for that one. We're going to change that actually. So we'll cut, if we cut this off from about there, because that's all scrap. I've never actually tried cutting through both. Oh, there we go. You know, both the fire sleeve and the actual line. So that bit's gone a bit hard and a bit scrap. So. Going for a start up. There's no boost pack on that side, but it's fine. Ignition on, laptop on.
My life be like,
As you've seen from that very poorly lit time lapse and video from last night, we had a bit of a busy day and we managed to get it started. So I'm chuffed. Yeah, everything seemed fine on the logs. So engine's all good. Next thing we just need to check is drivetrain. Just need to go through the gears with it up in the air. But yeah, it's looking positive. A couple of things. The gearbox oil cooler now won't fit in between the intercooler and the radiator as it was originally, because I've changed the framework and stuff, moved the radiator forward a little bit. I got a bit excited and a bit carried away with myself, and it doesn't fit anyway. So what I've done is I'll put it in the screen now, but I've gone down from a 6 row to a 4 row, so it's gone from 190mm to 130mm, and then it'll just fit into that little gap. I will go out to the car. I'll put it in the screen now actually. I'll show you a little video of the gap that it's got. So what's the other thing? I've ordered some more oil because I've emptied the Aki sump and, you know, like opened the valve, so the Aki sump's empty, and I remember I only drained 2.5 litres out of the sump and I only had 1.5 litres in the garage. So total we've got about 4.5, 4.8 litres in the sump, but the Aki sump's empty with the valve off. So we need to replace the volume in the Aki sump. So I've ordered another 5 litres of oil. The other thing I've ordered, these two connections. We've got at the minute 67-inch long the Merkel oil cooler lines, and I've always been meaning to get shorter ones because I routed it before, like back on themselves. It was from the original WRX chassis setup, and they're too long. So I've ordered these two fittings, and this will go from a 60-degree Merkel oil cooler fitment back to AN10, which is what the pipe is. I think it's 14 point something mil internal diameter, 20.3 mil external. So I've ordered these two. I'm going to put them on and shorten the lines to around half, 30 to 35 inch, something like that. And I'll put that in the video now. The little, you can see I'm just panning around here now. That's the route it's going to take from the oil cooler, the Merkel sandwich plate up, round, and then into the intercooler, instead of the route that it is there, like ridiculous, shilling on the floor. I've had to fucking ring them around themselves. Oh yeah, a couple of bits to show you in the shed with the resin repair jobs that I've done. And hairspray, I've nicked Jodie's hairspray. I'm going to go and put the last 2 boost pipes on. I trialled another little thing here to try and fix the damaged carbon fibre, you know, temporarily. So what I've done is, I'll show you what I've got in the vise here, but I put a bit of EL2, that stuff, that resin, on here, and then I put some release film on top and then taped it around, sort of like compressing it into the cracks, and it seems to have worked. So I'm going to continue and fix that damage area there, just so it looks and is held together a bit better. The main one, if you remember the end plate, had like a big crack in it, so this is the one that I want to work the most, really. Let me just pull out the vise. So I've just literally, same principle, but clamped to, there's just 2 old placemats. Put them up there. So you can see what I've done. Put some resin on and then just compressed it. So it's spilled out a little bit on the side there, but yeah, get this tape off. You don't want to watch me doing this. 1 minute. I mean, it has worked. Oh, that's a stubborn bit of tape. It has glued it back together, and it's strong again. It doesn't look perfect, but nothing a sticker wouldn't fix. I think that's what we're going to do with the rest of it. Obviously, this is not perfect. It's not going to be as strong as it was originally, but you could even probably sand it and then paint over it, and yeah, or just put a sticker over it. Sound. That'll do me. Spoiler next. So it's just aesthetics and geometry now, really. 1 more wheel to swap over. And yeah, that's it. So next episode will be Geo. And then, hopefully, a test drive. But until then, take it easy.